Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and good evening. My name is Nur Azli Binti Abdul Rashid and I will be moderating this live webinar for today. This is the webinar online distance learning for students with special needs, their challenges and solutions. And the presenter are Datuk Siti Nur Aisyah binti Amir, Miss Siti Aisyah Izlina binti Sarbani, Mrs. Aida Afika binti Khalid, and Dr. Nur Fazrin binti Sazali. Welcome and hi for all of you. For our webinar today, we will have one round session only. The end of this session, we will have a Q&A session. If you have any question for the presenter, you can ask during Q&A session. Okay, let's begin our webinar. Special educational needs is a legal definition and refer to the children with learning problem or disabilities that make it harder for them to learn than most children at the same age. They are not only need to use suitable way to help them to learn, but also they need to have more our attention to it. So this is more challenging if it done in class online class session. Okay, as a Ministry of Education, Dato' Aisyah, what is the challenging and your solution toward this situation? Dato' Aisyah, this floor is yours.
Okay, thank you to our beautiful moderator. Assalamualaikum and greeting. As we all know, some of our country's education system continue to use the online learning method in all educational institutions. The installation of an online learning or education system can have a significant impact not just on teachers and students, but also on the national education sector. As an education minister, I always prepare myself in all aspects when confronted with a changing world so that I can adapt to any situation that arises in the education sector. Thus, as an education minister, I always apply 5 things or action in dealing with a situation, such as the first one is solve complex environmental problem, practice effective communication, be flexible, use cutting-edge technology, and the last one is combine all and new concept. As a result, I believe that normal students can adapt to the environment of the new normative learning method, online digital learning, even over a long period of time. However, we in the education sector face a biggest challenge, that is ensuring that students with special needs receive a proper education, including online distance learning. One of the most significant challenges we face in the education sector, especially as a Minister of Education in our country, is preparing or modifying the online education plan distance learning for students with special need to special education teacher. This is because it is my responsibility to be able to analyze any risk that focuses on assessment, such as the probability of an event or incident occurring, the impact of an event or incident on an organization. The challenge we face is when special education teachers must teach from home online, a situation that is necessitated completed in every special education teacher in performing tasks remotely, being able to provide appropriate facility and equipment, being able to manage them well, and the nature of integrity in each such individual self. So in that situation, spiritual maturity in me
Okay, there are maybe problem in with Dr. Aisha line. Okay, let's move. Maybe let's move to let's move to teacher first. Or there are Dato Aisha in here again. Are you okay? Okay, Dato Aisha. Sorry, jap. Okay. Thank you very much, Dato Aisha. Maybe you have a little bit line problem. Thank you very much. Are you here? Maybe you have a little bit line problem.
Sure.
Are you here? Do you want to continue with your speech? Sorry.
Repeat the sentence. Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Why does the situation present such a significant challenge to me? Okay. Because when I want to modify, and this is because I do not want an education plan that is composed or prepared to be unable to function properly or to meet the needs of a student, especially student with special need. Because the education plan must meet each student ability, because each student has a different level of function, namely mild, moderate, and severe. So the last one is I don't want to be the one who thought I was able to solve the problem when in fact I was unable to provide the best solution to them. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dato Aisha. Maybe you have a little bit line problem, but it's okay. I still get a few points from your explanation, and I am very proud of you because Dato analyze the problem first and then finding the best plan toward this problem. But I am sure all of this plan cannot be true without assisted by teacher, and they may have to face even more challenges to do online distance learning for students with special need. Okay, as a teacher, Miss Aish, what is your opinion about it and how do you solve it?
All right. Can you hear me well?
For sure.
Okay. Alright, thanks to our beloved Miss Moderator. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Quoting from the explanation of our Minister of Education, where special education teachers face challenges that require the competence of teachers in performing tasks at a distance. Online learning is not like face-to-face learning where we can monitor and reprimand our students directly. It really requires a lot of patience. Well, after the announcement from the Ministry of Education Malaysia on the implementation of online teaching and learning, I admit it is especially us as special education teachers. We have to deal with temperaments. Most of my students have ADHD, ASD, and some of them are slow learners. One of the biggest, the greatest challenges that I face while teaching online, obviously, is attention. You know, even normal students who don't have any learning issues are also difficult to stay focused on online classes, not to mention students with special educational needs. Students with special needs have a short rate of concentration and attention to something. When they learn, they quickly get bored. They can't sit for long on a definitely move. Even though they are sitting on their chair, their focus is not on the teacher teaching in front of them. They rummage through books, watching birds flying outside the window. Oh, look, birds. Some of my students sometimes freely mute their mic or left the Google Meet or talk whatever and to whoever they wish in the middle of classroom. At times, they also unexpectedly get up and wander away. I don't even know when need to do something. I need to be more creative. Therefore, I use interactive media kits as my teaching aids. It is very, very, very helpful actually to catch their attention to stay in the online classes. There are too many distractions at home. So when I created games through interactive media, to some extent it can attract the attention and interest of my students to focus on what I want to teach them. To give you one example, I would like to teach my students to recognize syllables. CV plus CV in Bahasa Malaysia, for example. Or I want to share my screen, but my line might have some problem. Alright, I'm sorry. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, first, can you guys see my screen? Alright. Sorry. Alright. Alright, as you can see. Alright, first click the play button. This is the main menu section. We want to teach syllabus, right? So what we need to do is first, we need to teach spelling and pronunciation first. Just click here. Then, when the student has finished listening to all the pronunciation and spelling of the syllables, they will return to the main menu section again. There are, as you can see, there are 4 activity options that students can choose from. It must be completed step by step, or they can choose any options. In this section, students need to choose the correct syllable spelling based on the picture given. Okay, this is the activity 1. And then, and for activity 2, students must find the right syllable according to the picture provided. Activity 3 requires students to select the correct picture based on a given syllable. And in activity 4, students need to find the correct order of syllable spelling. And then finish. All I need to do is just upload this interactive media into Google Drive and give my students time to play the games. In short, it is not necessary to be in the Google Classroom, Google Meeting, Zoom, Webex every time the class. From time to time, we need to change the atmosphere, the elements, and the way of studying. From there, we can build students' interest in learning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Aish. You were doing your best to make sure all of your students learning with interesting of method that can be applied to a normal and special student, even though they are far from you. Okay, let's move to another situation. Mrs. Aida, as a mother of ADHD children that hard to concentrate and have an excessive of physical movement, what is your challenges to help your child in learning or schoolwork during online learning, and what you do to solve these challenges?
Okay, and thank you, Miss Azlin. Okay, Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. First of all, thanks for inviting me for today's webinar. As our moderator say, I am a full-time housewife and a mother to a child with ADHD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder. Okay, my child is actually 9 years old and he is in year 3 right now. As everyone know, over the past 2 years, the world has experienced a COVID-19 pandemic that has forced all the learning activity to be done online. Okay, it was a very stressful for us as a parent who has to face this situation all in a sudden. Okay, I think I faced the same problem as said by teacher Aishi. First of all, during this online learning process, my child is really like focused. He easily be distracted even by the small thing. Even the sound from a footstep was able to divert his attention from the screen. And it's very difficult for my child because sometimes he has to join a normal classroom with a normal friend who can learn as usual. Actually, when he is in a preschool, he was in a special class for a special needs children. Like in this preschool, he joined a special program that helped him to learn more about himself. This program teach him why he is different from others, but at the same time, he is not the only one who is facing this problem. So he does not have to feel inferior with his problem. So this program can give my son confidence to be around society. Because of that, when he was in year 1, sometimes he will join a normal classroom as the teacher's target so that my child was able to interact with his other friend. Okay, according to this teacher, when my child meets with a normal children after being in this special program, he can observe many trait and behavior of many children, which can help in his communicating, speaking, and socializing, and mix himself with a society in the future. Because of this, when he was in a school, before the pandemic happened, all of the teachers can give a special care and more attention to him because they know that he has ADHD. um, as a as and a special teacher will always keep track with my child daily progress so that they can help him effectively on the based on the report from his other teacher. But when this COVID-19 happened, everything started to be done online, and the teacher was not able to fully monitor my child throughout this online learning process. Therefore, the teacher was not able to know whether my child was able to follow this learning excellently or otherwise. Okay, other than that, my son always keep moving in his online class. He is really hyperactive, like always moving, shaking his arm or wiggle in the seat, which made him lose focus in the lesson. He also always leave a seat to play and run during online learning, where the teacher cannot control all of this through the screen. And he also easy to get bored while hearing explanation from his teacher until he does other activity during class and do not pay any attention with his lesson. Because of this, my child often make a mistake in task or activity given to him, and his involvement in online learning declined, which made me as a parent worry about his education throughout this COVID-19 pandemic. So what can I do to help my child with his education is I need to always be with him throughout this online learning. I have to monitor him regularly and always sit with him throughout this online class, which is not an easy thing for me because, as you know, we as a housewife also have other things need to be done and resolved, like cooking, tidying, and so on. And it's made it a bit difficult for me to monitor myself fully because I have to leave it sometime. To be honest, for me to completely control my child for this online learning is really challenging my patience. And the last thing that I can do to help my child in a lesson is that I will do the assigned task and activity along with him. With this, I can always report my child involvement to his teacher so that they can help my child by taking the next step for his education through this online learning. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Do you hear me, or I'm just talking talking to myself?
We can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
About based on I am asking the question. Okay, based on Mrs. Aida's situation, Dr. Fazri, maybe you have another parents that have the same situation with Mrs. Aida. So, what is your opinion about it?
Okay, thank you, Miss Azlin. Assalamualaikum and greetings to all. My name is Nofaz Julitis Azali. I am the Developmental Behavioral Pediatrician at University of Malaya. So it is great to be speaking with all of you today. And I'll be sharing my screen right now. Tell me if you can't see the slide or you can't hear me. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, talking about the students with ADHD, I strongly agree with the problem stated by the third panelist, which is Mrs. Aida, that the students with ADHD are struggling more than the students without ADHD during the online distance learning. And to let you know that this is also challenging for parents of children with ADHD. And so basically, what is actually meant by attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, because maybe some of you have never heard of what is ADHD before, right? So basically, ADHD is a behavior disorder, which is a child with ADHD is characterized by age-inappropriate features of inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. So they are likely will have one or more of these attributes. And as we all know, kids who are unaffected by ADHD that have to spend extensive time in front of a computer will have a difficult time. But not to mention, for students with ADHD, the struggle is heightened. So my suggestions to the problems faced by parents like Mrs. Aida just now is try to create a structure and routine to your child. And the first thing that you have to look on is try to maintain their sleep schedule and sleep hygiene. You have to make sure that your child gets enough sleep, which will help with their focus and also their behavior. And to help them get their sleep, you have to turn off all screens an hour before bedtime. And because consistent sleep will definitely allow your child to feel more rested, and it will optimize their attention during the day. And another way of creating a structure and routine to the child is by doing some structured activities. Mrs. Aida, you can try to get in some activity each morning before the school starts. For example, take a jog with them or play quick board games or Lego or puzzles. And because it is common for children with ADHD to leave things half done, and completing a project will develop good habits and also provides a great sense of accomplishment to them. And another way that parents can help their children with is by you need to know how to sustain their motivation and attention actually. And the way to sustain it is by encouraging movement and breaks to them. Physical activity and movement are important for students with ADHD. So you can let them play with fidget spinners or stretch toys at their designated learning area. And you also need to make sure that you allow time for 5-minute breaks, for example, to let their brains get focused again. And another important thing is parents need to know how to learn. Parents need to learn how to create a distraction-free workspace. And your children is actually need a designated. Parents actually your children is actually need a dedicated online learning area. Yeah, because what we can see from what Mrs. Aida said just now, children with ADHD are hyperactive and they are easily get distracted by the small thing. And sorry. Yeah, okay. And sorry for that. And my last point is that you parents need to know how to manage the time management for their children. You can use a video schedule, or and you can use a video schedule that includes lesson times, snack times, and also breaks for the physical activity necessary to keep the kids with ADHD settled and focused on their schoolwork. And I think that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you again, Dr. Fazrin. I was agreeing with you to encourage parents to be a vital role to helping in their children education. This is because to help their special children, they are not only have to prepare their own motivation, but they also need to prepare their physical. Okay, next, since Dr. Fazrin is our last panelist, and now let's move to another. Let's move to Q&A session. Okay. For question 1, can you give an example of one problem faced by special need children in online learning? For this question, maybe Dato' Aisyah would like to answer it.
Okay, for the question, one of the example of a problem faced by special needs children in online learning is the children do not give a full attention or concentrate or for over a long period of time when the teacher is teaching. That's my answer
for
for
the next question. Thank you again, Dato'. For the next question is for your online class for special needs children, how many children will be optimal in the class? Teacher, this question is yours.
All right. Thank you for the question. All right. Thank you for the question. Where for that question, how many children will be optimal in the online classes? Some of my students in my class have ADHD. Children with ADHD have one obvious problem, which is difficulty in concentrating. Children with ADHD cannot sit still. They can't sit still, and the teacher just teach. Back to the question, how many students are optimal in an online class? For those who do have access to the right technology, there is evidence that learning online can be very effective in a number of ways. Depends on teachers' creativity and parents' contribution. But for me, students with special needs cannot give full commitment in class without the cooperations of parents. That's my answer.
Okay, thank you, Miss. Okay, let's see the next question. This question is referred to Mrs. Aida, meaning that you will have to be with your child throughout his online learning. What is your feeling when now school is back to the normal?
Okay, thank you. What is my feeling when now school is back to normal? I feel like I have a lot of free time. Before this, I have to do all the homework quickly and in cold, because I have to match up with my child's schedule. I think that's all.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Aida. Okay, the next question is you have Dr. Fazrin. You have described that the step that parents with ADHD children to be able to follow one online lesson. What about autistic children? Can their parents follow the same step like ADHD?
Sorry, let me read the question first. Oh, okay. The question is, you have described the steps that parents with ADHD children to be able to follow online lessons. And what about the autistic children? Can their parents follow the same steps like ADHD? So, in my opinion, you can follow some steps that I have provided just now, like because autistic children are often like ADHD, they are hyperactive also, but because they cannot stop moving, they are looking around the place, and so they also can the steps that parents can do to sorry. Sorry, I was disconnected from the internet. So yeah, actually, parents can follow the same steps like for the autistic children. I think that's all for me.
Thank you again, Dr. Fazri. Okay, the last question is, what is your hope for the future of education for special needs children? Actually, I would like to answer this question. For your Sorry, my line is not okay right now. Okay, again, for me, I really love to know more about special children, and I really hope for in the future there are more school and the school teachers and students that really aware about them in the school, and I really love if we will have them which is a special student to contribute in our society to make sure that most of the people at the in the Malaysia was aware about them and know the existence of special student in the normal school and special schools too. I think that's all. And since that's all of the question for today. Thank you for all of the question. And with the end of Q&A session, we have to come to the end of our webinar. We have to come to the end of our webinar. We would like to say thank you again to all of our panel and participants for your contribution. Hopefully, this webinar will be beneficial to everyone. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum.